Unmute again. All muted కదా.
Am I audible? Am I audible? So delay of the senescence. ఇప్పటిదాకా నేను మాట్లాడిన వినబడ్డాయమ్మా మీకు? ఇప్పటి వరకు నేను మాట్లాడిన వినబడ్డాయా? ఎందుకంటే నేను మ్యూట్ లో ఉండే మాట్లాడినట్టున్నాను.
గర్ల్స్ టెల్ మీ మా.
నో సార్ వినిపించలేదు.
ఓ నాకు నేనే చెప్పుకున్నాను. ఓకే, ఎనీవే మై డియర్ ఫ్రెండ్స్, you are watching my face but you are not able to even though single express your words. Okay, no problem. So last class we are discussed about the discovery of the auxins and the physiological functions of the auxins. We are clearly discussed in last class. Now today we are going to discuss about the next plant growth regulator, that is phytohormone, gibberellin. Okay, so gibberellin, discovery of the gibberellin, the physiological functions of the gibberellin, we are going to discuss today's class. Okay, so in this the discovery of gibberellin.
Sir, PPT.
Okay, not visible. Okay, very good, very good. Now it's visible.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so today we are going to discuss about the next, that the second phytohormone. Yesterday we are discussed about auxin, the second plant growth regulator, that is phytohormone gibberellin. Okay, so gibberellin is the next second phytohormone in our syllabus along with auxin. So gibberellin is the most important phytohormone or plant growth regulator, which is induced, the growth inducible. So growth promoting hormone, it shows different physiological functions related to our plants. So in this topic we are going to discuss about the mechanism and action of the plant growth regulator auxin, and what are the applications related to gibberellin. Okay, in this topic, the types of the growth hormones, that is auxin, gibberellin, cytokinin, ABA means abscisic acid, ethylene, and some of the morphactin, even though the brasinosteroids. So these are the related to plant growth regulators or phytohormones. Each and every hormone or from plant growth regulator has made up of different chemical components, that is organic substances, which are produced in different parts and produce different parts of the plants, and the action or the mode of action is varies from the production region or synthesized region, and which are transported through phloem or transported through xylem, and even though besides tissue or beside cells, they are effect on different physiological functions. So these are called growth hormones or phytohormones, and these are popularly known as phytohormones or growth regulators. Okay, growth regulators. So the today topic, that is the gibberellins. So gibberellins are produced in endogenous and plant growth regulators. My dear friends, all of the phytohormones, they are endogenous plant growth regulators, no doubt at all. Even though, so in earlier gibberellins are the 40 gibberellins occur in plants, while other are present in some fungi. More than 200 gibberellins are now discovered. In earlier they are discovered 40 gibberellins occurred in the plants, even though fungi present, others are present in some of the fungi. The first scientist who discovered these gibberellins by the Kurosawa belongs to Japan. So Japan physiologist or scientist who initiating for the discovery of the gibberellins from the fungi, that is the Gibberella fujikura in 1926. There he's discovered in the rice plant or paddy, Oryza sativa plant. Then according to Palach, gibberellins are compounds or chemical compounds have gibbane skeleton and biological activity in stimulating both cell division and cell elongation also. Cell division and cell elongation. And afterwards, after discovery of the Kurosawa in 1926, the Japan scientists, that is Yabuta, Hayashi and Sumiki. These are the scientists who isolated and crystallized the samples of the active material, which they were called gibberellins. So the first name has given by Yabuta, Hayashi and Sumiki. So these are the scientists belongs to Japan. They are after discovery of Kurosawa in 1926. Then after 1931, so the gibberellins has name given by Yabuta, Hayashi and Sumiki, 1939. So these are the plant hormones mainly stimulates especially elongation of internodes. The first and foremost physiological function of the gibberellins are the elongation of the internodes. And the first isolated from the fungus, that is the Gibberella fujikura. So this discovery of this gibberellin is very interesting, my dear friends. So these gibberellins are the chemical components which are caused by the foolish seedling disease. తెలివి తక్కువ మొలక తెగులు లేదా వెర్రి తెగులుగా పిలుచుకునేటువంటి foolish seedling disease. So this foolish seedling disease caused by this gibberellin, gibberellin, that is the phytohormone. And in this disease, actually our rice field, we are observed, they are growing 1 to 2 feet of the height of the plants. They are grown in 1 to 2 feet height. But whenever this Gibberella fujikura attacked or produced the chemical compound inside the plant or the gibberellin, it is caused by elongation of the, especially nodal elongation. Our internodes are grown very rapidly. The height, more than 2 feet of the height, the rice plants or paddy plant is growing more than 2 feet or 3 feet, then automatically whenever the wind is comes very rapidly, they are fall down in the field. So that's why the scientist whose name has given this disease, foolish seedling disease. So this is very, very important for the discovery of this gibberellin. In this Japan scientist, that is Kurosawa, identified how these rice plants are grown very rapidly. The internodes are elongated. Our internodes are elongated at the length of the internode. The size of the internode has changed or varies from the normal rice plant, and heat absorbed, and some of the disease caused for this length or height. The height is caused by some of the organism. Then afterwards, the Kurosawa is applied. This whenever the extraction, the leaf extract, even though the node extract is applied of the healthy plants of the crop field, then automatically the healthy plants also shown the rapid development or rapid growth of the height of the plants. So then only the Kurosawa is identified. This is caused by Gibberella fujikura that belongs to a fungi. Then afterwards, the same extract, the leaf and the diseased material extract has crystallized by Yabuta and Hayashi in 1939, and after given this Gibberella fujikura, the chemical compound is name has given by gibberellin. Okay, so that is the gibberellin. That is the history of the gibberellic acid or gibberellins. Okay, these gibberellins Gibberellic acid. So gibberellins are the gibberellic acid. We can also call it gibberellic acid 1, GA1, GA2, GA3, and even though GA200. So more than 200 gibberellins now they are discovered. So here about 125 types of the gibberellins they are discovered. Now present more than 200 gibberellins are widely they are discovered. Then mainly so GA1 and GA20 are widely distributed in higher plants for the developmental or plant growth using by the different physiological functions. What are the structure of this gibberellin? This slide is visible, Amma? Are you follow? This slide is visible, structure of gibberellin.
Yes, sir.
Anybody? Yeah. The structure of gibberellin, the structure contains 20 carbon. How many carbons, Amma? 20 carbon. Actually, so gibberellic acid is contain 20 carbon. So 20 carbon skeleton, even though some of the gibberellins contain carbon 19. So 19 carbons only. So that is the GA9. So GA9 is a 19 carbon gibberellin, whereas from the normal other gibberellins, remaining all gibberellins contain so carbon 20 skeletons. So they are GA12, GA27, GA53, like that. So mainly you have to put the answer. So 20 carbon skeleton. So gibberellin is a 20 carbon skeleton. You have to say. But if they are quoted GA9, gibberellic acid 9 is how many carbon component? How many carbon component? How many carbon component means C19. That is the carbon 19. 19 carbon skeleton. You should put the answer. Okay, so GA1 is the chief biologically active in stem elongation. So among these 200 types of the gibberellic acid, GA1, GA2, GA200. So GA1 is the main active compound, a biological compound for the stem elongation. So first physiological function of this gibberellic acid is stem elongation. Why we can say stem elongation? Because here we are observed elongation of the internodes. So internodes is responsible for the stem elongation. You know, are you agree or not? Are you agree or not? Even though it's a GA3, so practical uses in plant breeding and plant breeding programs. So plant breeding program GA3 is very important. Why we are say that GA3 is very important for the plant breeding programs? My dear friends, remember in last class we are discussed about the auxins. So auxins mainly useful for the modified the gender, whether the male flowers are whenever we are applied in externally, whenever we are applied the auxins in externally, the male flower going to turn it into female flowers. At the same time, whenever we are applied externally gibberellic acid, that is GA3, the female flowers are going to modify it into male flowers. So this is a very important point, my dear friends. Are you follow? So whenever we are applied externally, whenever we are spraying on the plant, whenever we are spraying on the flowers, the male flowers are going to modify it into female flowers, auxins. But here, our gibberellins, whenever we are applied the gibberellins, whenever the free spray on the flowers of the gibberellins, the female flowers are going to modify it into, turn it into, female flowers going to turn it into male flowers. So this is the difference between auxin and gibberellins. So that is very important, my dear friends. Okay. Then isolation of the gibberellins. So this is the structure of the gibberellins. So how structure of the gibberellin, 20 carbon skeleton we are observed, even though 19 carbon skeleton we are also there. So GA1 is mostly important for the stem elongation, and GA3 for the usable for the plant breeding programs. Then isolation of the gibberellins. In this slide, so gibberellin, whenever the isolating of the crude gibberellins, a crystalline material with plant growth promoting properties, the metabolites of Gibberella fusiculae. Gibberella fusiculae is a fungi which is produce the gibberellins or gibberellic acid. That is the chemical compound. So that chemical compound is contained the fungal gibberellins, that is GA1, GA2, GA4, GA7, GA9, etc. are the gibberellic acid. Even though 1568 is isolated by Phaseolus multiflorus, So these are the Phaseolus multiflorus belongs to Fabaceae family. This Phaseolus multiflorus immature runner bean, that is a contain 10 to 100 degree 100 milligram per gram of the material plant, this bean material we are our scientists are extracted 10 to 100 mg. Even though some of the higher plants related to different plants, they are isolated. Kudzu vine, then pinto bean, then sweet corn kernels, then lima bean, even though alfalfa grass. So this alfalfa grass, these seedlings, even these seedlings of the different plants consist of per gram 18 to 500 mg of the kudzu vine, and even the plant bean, then pinto bean contain 15 mg per gram, and sweet corn kernel. Sweet corn, are you heard about the sweet corn? Are you ever eat sweet corn? TP mokkajonna, sweet corn. So sweet corn kernel. So kernel untundi kada, kernel. So sweet corn kernel contain per each gram contain 15 to 45 milligram of this gibberellic acid or gibberellin. Our scientists are extracted. Even the lima bean and alfalfa grass. So alfalfa grass also the seedlings produce each per gram 15 to 75 mg. So compared to these different higher plants, so kudzu vine is produced the high amount of the quantity of the gibberellic acid. Here kudzu vine contain 80 to 500 mg per gram. Okay, so these are the different plant seedlings or plants are isolated from different gibberellic acid of different plants. Okay, then what are the mechanisms or actions of the action of the gibberellic acid? So now the most important area, that is what are the physiological functions related to the gibberellic acid on the plants, or different physiological actions. So GA, the gibberellic acid, mainly the first point is the growth. So growth is the most important, the first and foremost physiological function or mechanism of the action on the plant, measure the growth of the plant. So in this point we discussed about the number one, the cell expansion, even the cell division. So cell division and cell expansion, these are the both functions are responsible for the phytohormone, that is gibberellic acid. Even though earlier we are discussed about the auxin. So auxin is also the first point, that is cell elongation. The cell elongation is nothing but cell expansion. Cell elongation is nothing but cell expansion. So auxins and gibberellins both are responsible for the cell elongation or they promote cell expansion. And the second important function, that is cell division. So in the cell division, all the cell divisions, so gibberellic acid is most important phytohormone. So whenever the cell division necessary occur, the gibberellic acid is actively participated for the cell division. Then the second point here, extensibility changes in GA3 treated tissues. So some of the tissues, they are shown of the whether the growth area, and even though shows the differentiation, whatever it may be. Here height reduces the extensibility of hypocotyl tissue. So whenever we are observing the seedlings, epicotyl, hypocotyl, are you heard about this term, Sama? Epicotyl and hypocotyl. So hypocotyl region, so hypocotyl tissues, whenever we are applied this gibberellic acid, or even though internally, then the height is reduced. While in the darkness, whenever we are put it into the plants, whenever the darkness, the GA3 overcome this inhibition. Actually, the hypocotyl tissue is reduced height. Whenever the plant or seedling is going to put it into the dark area or in the dark room, the GA3 is synthesized very extensively, then automatically overcome the height, the reduction of the height is inhibited, then automatically the growth is promoted. Then automatically the height is extensively we are observed. The height is enlarged. The height is changed from normal plants. Then the next one, that is the GA3 for the synthesis of RNA proteins, ribose nucleic acid proteins. So any type of the action or mode of action at the time of with the time of cell division, the RNA and proteins are very necessary in the cell cycle. So then automatically the gibberellic acid is induced, the increased level of the RNA, ribose nucleic acid, even the proteins also in cell cycle or in the interface of the cell cycle. G1s and G2 we are observed. So G1, gap period 1 and gap period 2, we are observed some of the RNAs and even the proteins are also synthesized in that interface. So that is depends upon this gibberellic acid, especially GA3. So GA3 is responsible for the synthesis of the RNA, even the proteins also. And normal cells, or even though different parts of the plant, it is cause the increase in total metabolites in the plant cells. So whenever the metabolism, the metabolitic rate is increased, then automatically RNA and even though proteins are also necessary for the physiological functions. Then the most important, the next point is the serial alluron layer. That is the amylase, increasing of the activation of the alpha amylase. So alpha amylase is responsible for the activation of the alpha amylase in the cereal plants. That is responsible for by this gibberellic acid. So in this slide we are observed that this is the alluron layer. So this is the alluron. Are you ever seen our paddy? That's rice grain or wheat grain. Okay, so rice grain is also, we can call that is the fruit. Rice grain is nothing but fruit, caryopsis. The fruit we can call as caryopsis. So this caryopsis, we are observed the husk, husk, husk and the fruit. Even though the seed coat and the fruit coat is tightly bounded with this husk and even the alluron layer. So whenever we are going to the mill or rice mill, we are separate the husk and even though our rice grain. Okay, so here the alluron layer of seed is responsible for degradation of starchy endosperm. Here this is the endosperm. This endosperm is responsible for the storage of the carbohydrates or starch. So starch are మనం తీసుకునేటువంటి ఆ బియ్యం గింజ మొత్తం కూడా ఏందమ్మా starch, బియ్యం అంటే carbohydrate. So this carbohydrate or starch is preserved or the storage by the endosperm of the rice or all graminar Poaceae family members. This starch or carbohydrate is surrounded by the brown sheath, the brown yellow color or brown colored layer we are observed. This brown yellow color layer we can call as alluron layer. This is the embryo. This embryo, you are observed the very corner region of the rice grain. Even though you are observed in the kernel of the, you are observed in the sweet corn. Whenever we are eating the corn, this very small structure, yellow color structure we are observed, that is embryo, my dear friends. Remaining all are endosperm. So remaining part of the grain or remaining part of the grain or seed is endosperm. This endosperm is responsible for the storage of the food material, which help for whenever the seed is germinating. The seed is germinating, the endosperm is useful for the development of the embryo or produce of the seedlings. So this is a scutellum region. This is the scutellum. So the seed, the embryo, this is we can call as a scutellum. So the cotyledon we can also call as scutellum of the grass plants or graminar Poaceae family members. See here the degradation of the starchy endosperm. So this degradation of the starchy embryo responsible by the gibberellic acid. Amma, are you follow my class? Are you follow? Hello? Am I audible? Anybody can respond. Am I audible?
Sir, we can hear.
Yeah. Here, whenever the gibberellic acid is activated or produced inside the seed, then automatically this gibberellic acid is responsible, or the coordinates or control the production of the hydrolytic enzymes. So these hydrolytic enzymes are present inside the whenever the seed is going to germinate. The gibberellic acid is responsible for the induce of the hydrolytic enzymes. Then automatically this starch is going to convert into sugars and amino acids. You are observed in this slide how this seedling is shows how this seed is going to germinate. This at the time of seed germination, so this gibberellic acid is activated, the amylase enzyme, then automatically the starch is going to converted into sugars, and the sugars and amino acids is going to responsible for the germination of the seed. Then automatically this plumule, and this is the radical region. Our radical region means root is produced from this seed, and even though the plumule is produce the coleoptile. So this is the entire active actions of the seeds are responsible for the controlled by this gibberellic acid. So this is the most important for the germination of at the time of the germination of the seedlings. Even though the increase in the imbibition of the water and the set of the enzymes activity. Are you heard about the term imbibition? Imbibition is in the imbibition hydrophilic colloids. So hydrophilic colloids, they are absorbed and absorb the moisture of the water content. Then automatically seed is going to enlarge. The size of the seed is going to enlarge, and it is very easily to germination to produce the plumule and even the coleoptile root region also. So this is entire. The fourth one is that is the germination of the seed. The fifth one is the germination of the seeds, and the fourth one. So this is the alluron content, and this is the germination area. This slide is I hope clearly you understand about the physiological actions of the gibberellin. So the alluron layer of the seed is also responsible for the degradation of the starchy endosperm, that is controlled by the gibberellin. Okay, alluron layer. మీరు బ్రౌన్ రైస్ ఎప్పుడైనా చూసారేమో? బ్రౌన్ రైస్ మనం unpolished rice contain brown rice. So unpolished rice contain brown layer, that is nothing but alluron layer. So whenever we are going to polish the rice, this alluron layer is going to last in the rice mill. Whenever the husk region, husk and the alluron layer is going to taudu అని చెప్పుకుంటాం మనం, rice bran. So this rice bran and alluron layer is going to helpful for the production of the yield of the milk yield. Whenever we are utilizing, or whenever give the cows and even the buffaloes, they produce the yield. The quantity of the milk is increased by this rice bran, even though this alluron layer. Unpolished rice contain this alluron. Whenever the polished rice, this alluron layer is lost, even though the vitamin B1 and vitamin B1 is also going to last. So this is the most important in our day-to-day life, Amma. Then we will go to next slide. Then practical applications of the gibberellin. So whenever we are applied of the gibberellins, number one, bolting and flowering. What is bolting? Bolting means the induce of the stem elongation or shooting elongation, internodes and nodes and internodes going to grow very rapidly. So the nodes and internode size is increased by the applying of this gibberellins. So that is bolting. In this bolting, the promote of the growth of the short day condition, then form rosette required cold treatment, stem elongation and flowering we are observed. So in Rudbeckia speciosa and Hyoscyamus niger. So these are the plants. Even though even though brassica oleracea means cabbage and cauliflower, whenever you are applied externally, then automatically the rosette vegetative branching is going to enlarge very rapidly by the applying of this gibberellins. So that is we can call as a bolting. So in bolting, the elongation of the internodes and the shoot going to enlarge. The size of the shoot is increased. We can call as bolting by the application of the externally gibberellins. Then elongation of the internodes, the promote the internode, that is the loosening of cell wall for stretching. The target of the gibberellin action is intercalary meristem. So the intercalary meristem is activated by the application of these gibberellins. That is xyloglucan glycosylase. That is XGT. We can also call as XGT, xyloglucan glycosylase. So this is the enzyme is activated by this application of this applied whenever we are applied externally these gibberellins. So this is the bolting and flowering. Then parthenocarpy. Are you heard about the term parthenocarpy? Parthenocarpic fruit is nothing but seedless fruits. Nowadays we are observed in the market without seeds, papaya, seedless papaya, seedless grapes, and seedless watermelon. Okay, so these are the best example for the parthenocarpic fruits. Induce the parthenocarpic fruits by gibberellins. So, and seedless, even though the area of the seed is increased by the flesh inside the fruit. So this is the best example for the our day-to-day life in the present scenario. That is the seedless fruits, seedless tomato, seedless grapes, and seedless. Even though pomegranates also, man, pomegranates. So seedless pomegranates also responsible for the best example for the parthenocarpic fruits. Okay, so that is caused by gibberellins. And also, my dear friends, this is even though this observed, this A, B, C, D, you observed, the bunch of the fruits also increase. The branches of the inflorescence are, even though the fruit size and the fruit color and fruit size also increased in the by the application of this applied of the whenever externally this gibberellic acid. Then another most important physiological function, that is the breaking of the bud dormancy. So this it is done by gibberellins treatment. Whenever gibberellin treatment, the dormancy, the removal of the dormancy or breaking of the dormancy by external application of these gibberellins in potato tubers. This is treated by gibberellins. Whenever we are stored in the room or stored in the kitchen, were stored in the different area of the different cold storage, the potatoes are not able to germinate long term. Whenever we are using this external application of the gibberellins, automatically the potato tubers germinates very easily. So that is breaking of the dormants. That is nothing but breaking of the dormants by the application of the gibberellins. Then synthesis of the alpha amylase. So alpha amylase is enzyme which is responsible for the alluran layer, the promoting of the alluran layer during the germination, and which is also responsible for the activation of the enzymes, even the hydrolysis of the starch to embryo, and provide energy by these gibberellins, and accelerate the rate of abscission. So abscission is a layer. This is accelerated by the gibberellic acid. And the next one is substituting cold treatment. So actually cold treatment is very, very important during the flowering season on different plants. So we are not able to giving the externally cold treatment. Whenever we are applied the gibberellins, is nothing but it is a substitute or alternative for the cold treatment. This substituting of the cold required for the gibberellins whenever the flower is induced. So whenever the flower is induced by the, whenever we are applied, the flower is induced. When the biennial in the trees or plants related to biennials. Biennial plants means the first year the plants able to develop or preserve the food material inside the different parts of the plants, whether the radish or beetroot, even though carrot. So these are the best example for the biennials. So first year whenever the crop in the crop first year, they are the making of the preservation of the food material. The second year they are produce the flowers. But we want in the first year the flower, we want the flowering is the first year. Externally we are applied the gibberellins, then automatically the first year the flowers are observed, or flowers are induced. Then seed germination, we are also already discussed. Then light sensitive seeds shows poor germination in dark. Whenever the exposed to light and red light starts the vigorous growth. Red light. Are you heard about the visual spectrum of the 400 to 700 nanometer wavelength? The red light is very suitable for the growth of the plants, and also germination of the seeds. The seeds are treated with gibberellic acid in dark, like lettuce and tobacco. Then automatically seeds is going to germinate very rapidly. And even the root growth also promoted by this gibberellic acid. So little amount or no effect on the root growth compared to other phytohormones like auxins. So auxins is very rapidly induced root forming, synthesis in the cuttings of the stems. But here our gibberellic acid is very little bit responsible for the growth of the roots. But some of the plants, we are not able to observe the growth of the root. And induction of the flowering. So the flower induced induction is very important. That is responsible for the GO4 and GA7. GA4 and GA7 are effective inducing early flowering. This is induce many pistillate flowers. Pistillate flower means staminate flower, pistillate flower. Are you heard these terms? Pistillate flower means staminate flower means male flowers. Here, this induce many pistillate flowers in Hedera helix. That is also we can call as commonly English ivy or Hedera helix. Only female flowers are induced. But remaining Cucurbitaceae family are different plants. The female flowers are going to convert it into male flowers. So this is the most important mechanism of this gibberellins. And fruit set. The initiation of the fruit growth following fertilization, gibberellins induced fruit settings. So best example of the apple, the Malus sylvestris, and stone fruits. Some of the stone fruits like mango and some of the Anacardium occidentalis, GD mamidi. Okay, Anacardium occidentalis, and even though coconut plants. These are some examples of the fruits by the applying of the external gibberellins. And what are the commercial uses of these gibberellins? The number one, fast growth of seedlings. So nowadays we are very much production of the fruits related to different plants, different flowering plants. GA3 is very important for the promoting of their growth rate for the applying of shoot tips, and it also applied in root stocks of mango and citrus, and which is leading to large production of in a short period. Large production of in a short period, in a little bit of the period and a very small amount of time, produce a large amount of the fruits and different parts of the plants. and breaking of seed dormancy or bud dormancy. Breaking of the seed dormancy or bud dormancy. Some of the sometimes seeds are not able to germinate. That time whenever applying this commercial purpose, the seeds are going very grown or germinate very rapidly for the malt. Some of the malt is responsible for the making of the beverage industry. This gibberellic acid is very important. So the treatment of the seeds with 100 parts per million ppm Ga3 is useful to overcome seed dormancy. For example, citrus, cherry, grapes, pear, plums, apple, peach, anona, tomato. These are the fruits, these are the plants. Seeds are responsible for the fast growing or fast germinating by the applying of this externally of gibberellic acid. And the control of plant growth. Even the control of the plant growth by the applying of this gibberellic acid to avoid the manual pruning the plant growth regulators like MH, CCC and ethyl. These are the chemical compounds and used for arresting apical growth of the plant, and it is cheap method. There is no need of labors. So it is very cheaper method and low cost method for applying with this gibberellic acid. And modification of the sex expression. So very important, my dear friends. Here it can induce the produce male or female flower in large numbers. So some of the plants we need female flowers, and some of the plants we need not female flowers, and even though need male flowers for the development of the wood and the development of the plants. So that's why whenever we are applying externally, so sex determination or sex expression is modified or changed the sex expression of the flowers. So this is known as modification of sex expression. Modification of the sex expression, that is the ethyl and malic hydrazide, MH, malic hydrazide, and cyclocell, that is the CCC, and triiodobenzoic acid, that is TIBA. TIBA means triiodobenzoic acid, is the chemical compounds related to the gibberellic acid. Whenever we are applied externally, the sex of the flowers is modified or transformed by the gibberellic acid. So these gibberellins and world food production by the day before yesterday is Norman Borlaug birthday, my dear friends. Yesterday is Norman Borlaug birthday. Norman Borlaug is also known as the father of Green Revolution, you know, father of Green Revolution, and he has awarded a Nobel laureate in 1970 in Nobel Peace Prize. Even the developing high yield varieties like wheat, the dwarf wheat varieties are produced in the Green Revolution. Norman Borlaug related to Mexico of the America, and the strains required high levels of the fertilizers containing nitrogen, and these are the disadvantages for the using of the fertilizers. The chemical fertilizers also externally very need. That is the main disadvantage, and also create pollution and expensive. That is the cost based method also. This is the disadvantages in the Green Revolution. But my dear friends, whenever the 1950s and 60s, the hunger is very dominating region. The hunger is overcome by this Green Revolution by this Norman Borlaug. And gibberellin from on stem elongation, we are observed. This is a pea seedlings. This is a pea seedlings. Pea seedlings, whenever applied of this treatment of the Ga3, the stem at the node internode region is enlarged, and the height of this plant is we are observed in the slide. And malting in the barley, barley of the malting is also very responsible for the beverages industry. So that is the starch grains is synthesis of the malt in the barley grains. That is the most important. And even though the sugar content is high yield of the sugar content is increased in the sugarcane crop, is increase the high yield or high amount of the quantity of the sugar is increased by this gibberellic acid in the sugarcane and the sugar crops. Okay, sugar crops, that is sugarcane. Okay, then even the coordination of development via the hormones of the auxins. So the gibberellins, even though coordinates the major phytohormones, auxin, cytokines, and gibberellin, subsilic acid, and ethylene. So these are the plants related to the growth of the plants and coordination of the plants. So not only even the single gibberellic acid is responsible for the entire activities or entire physiological actions, but also mode of the action is by the coordinate with other phytohormones also. For the other phytohormones also, the development of the whether the seed, whether the shoot, or whether the fruits, and whether the flower are different physiological functions based on the not only even though single phytohormone, but also the mode of the actions of the related to other phytohormones like auxin gibberellins and auxin cytokinins, even the gibberellins and ethylene. So these are the coordination by the different phytohormones in the plants. So this is related to the mechanism and mode of action of the gibberellins. If you have any doubt, please ask me, Amma. Any doubt, Amma? My dear friends? No? No doubt? Malting, okay, sugar yielding, okay, stem elongation. No doubt? Amma, respond. Are you here? Are you listen? No doubt? No doubt?
No, sir.
Okay. If you don't have any doubt, please tell me. I'm asking some of the questions related to today's topic. Tell me some commercial purpose. What are the physiological functions or mode of actions by the gibberellins? Tell me, Amma. What are the important physiological actions or physiological functions related to commercial purpose or commercial crops or commercial plants? No?
Enhance the growth rates.
Okay, fast growth. So fast growth is necessary in the field of the different plants or different crops like mango, citrus. Okay, these are some of the plantation crops. Some of the plantations they produce large amount of the large quantity and large size and large amount of the fruits or crops is necessary, and high yield is necessary, and development of the seedlings is very rapid. That is necessary, and breaking up the dormancy, seed dormancy for the development or growth of the seeds. And even though control of the plant growth and sex expression is also important for the commercial purpose. So some of the crops needed female flower, some of the crops related to male flower is necessary. Even though malting of the barley and the sugar yield and increase of the sugar content of the sugar cane, that is responsible for the gibberellins, and that's why we are applying externally. We are spraying of the gibberellins externally. Okay. The chemicals related to MHH, that is the malic hydrazide ethyl and cyclocel and triiodobenzoic acid. So we are the chemicals we are applied externally, in the commercial purpose. Are you agree or not? Even though in the commercial purpose, so the parthenocarp is very, very important, parthenocarpic fruits, seedless fruits. So that is the very important physiological function of the gibberellic acid. Okay. If you don't have any doubt, I will stop, Amma. Okay, Amma? I will stop here. Okay.